Let's get right into it. Number 10. Midnight Hunger Gremlin. You ever notice how your stomach suddenly decides to cosplay as a garbage disposal at 2 a.m.? You could have eaten a perfectly respectable dinner, maybe even a midnight snack, but once the clock hits way past bedtime, your brain summons the hunger gremlin. That's not just you being quirky. It's your circadian rhythm poking you with a stick, whispering, asterisk, hey, food now, sleep later, asterisk. Your internal clock is tightly linked to metabolism. Basically, your body thinks it's smarter than you and tries to stockpile energy for a future that may or may not involve running from wolves. Back in the hunter-gatherer days, late-night food meant survival. Today, it just means you're in pajamas, staring at the glow of the fridge light, eating shredded cheese with your bare hands. The problem? Your metabolism actually slows down at night. So while your brain is screaming pizza rolls, your body is filing all of it under asterisk, emergency fat storage. Asterisk, that's why 2 a.m. nachos feel so satisfying in the moment but so traitorous the next morning. Your internal clock is both the drug dealer and the cop, tempting you to eat, then punishing you for listening. So yes, your late-night cravings aren't just bad discipline. They're literally clock sabotage. Your body's still running on caveman firmware while you're trying to run on Netflix and insomnia. Number 9. The Afternoon Crash Conspiracy. Picture this. You're working, typing away, pretending to care about spreadsheets, when suddenly your brain falls into a ditch. The clock hits 3 p.m., and you go from mildly functional adult to half-dead sloth. That's not laziness, it's biological mutiny. Your circadian rhythm isn't just about sleep. It's also about energy distribution. Around mid-afternoon, your core body temperature drops a little, your alertness dips, and your brain waves slow down like dial-up internet. This is why every office building feels like a zombie apocalypse around that time. People shuffle to the coffee machine like it's the only cure, whispering, just one more cup. Back in ancient times, this dip was basically naptime protocol. Humans evolved with biphasic sleep, 2 chunks of sleep instead of one long Netflix binge-style session. In many cultures, siestas still exist because the afternoon crash is less a bug and more a feature. But in the modern world, naps are considered unprofessional, unless you're a toddler or Elon Musk. So instead, you fight biology with overpriced lattes and raw stubbornness. The funny part? If you just gave in and napped for 20 minutes, your productivity would skyrocket. But no, society decided the correct answer is to power through while Googling, can you die from boredom in a meeting? Your clock isn't broken, your lifestyle is. Number 8. Jet lag. The clock hangover. Imagine your entire body being drunk, but without the fun part where you say weird things to strangers. That's jet lag. You step off a plane, and suddenly your brain thinks it's breakfast while your stomach is screaming, bedtime. It's like your organs are living in different time zones and forgot to sync on Google Calendar. Your circadian rhythm is ruled by light. Sunlight tells your brain when to release melatonin, the hormone that basically tucks you into bed. When you hop across time zones, your body's still running on the old schedule, so you're basically living in 2 dimensions at once. It takes about a day per time zone to adjust, which means if you fly from New York to Tokyo, your body will only feel normal by the time you're already flying home. The real kicker? Jet lag doesn't just mess with sleep. It messes with digestion, mood, and even memory. That's why you forget simple stuff like what hotel room you're in or how many times you've eaten airport pretzels in the past 24 hours. Your internal clock is literally hazing you for daring to teleport across the planet. Airlines love to call it jet lag, like it's just a mild inconvenience. But let's be real. It's biological betrayal. The cure? Light exposure, hydration, and pretending that microwaved airline eggs count as breakfast. Basically, your internal clock needs therapy after every long-haul flight. Number 7. Morning zombie mode. You know that horrifying moment when your alarm goes off and your body decides, nope, we live here now? That's called sleep inertia, and it's basically your brain booting up like a Windows 95 computer. Your internal clock doesn't just flip a switch to awake. It drags you out of dreamland by the ankles, slowly, while mocking you the entire way. During deep sleep, your brain is busy scrubbing itself clean, literally flushing out toxins. But if your alarm rips you out of that cycle at the wrong time, congratulations. You wake up groggy, confused, and wondering if toothpaste is edible. This isn't you being lazy, it's the circadian rhythm being petty. Here's the science. Your body temperature, hormone levels, and blood pressure all rise before you wake naturally. That's the gentle sunrise version of waking. But alarms? They're like yanking the cake out of the oven halfway through baking. You're technically awake, but spiritually still half batter. That's why you feel like a zombie until coffee does its ritual resurrection ceremony. So when people smugly say, "I'm a morning person," what they really mean is their internal clock is synced better than yours, or they're lying. Either way, your clock decides whether you rise like a graceful swan or a gremlin crawling out from under a rock. Number 6. The 2 a.m. Existential Crisis. You ever notice how your brain saves its weirdest thoughts for the middle of the night? You're lying there, finally trying to sleep, when suddenly your mind goes, asterisk, what if giraffes don't actually sleep standing up? Asterisk, or worse, asterisk, remember that embarrassing thing you said 7 years ago? Asterisk. This isn't random cruelty. This is your circadian rhythm scheduling rumination hour. At night, melatonin is high, cortisol, your stress hormone, dips, and your brain's problem-solving mode goes offline. The result? Every tiny worry feels like a blockbuster apocalypse movie playing in your skull. Your internal clock is like that one friend who insists, "This is a good time to talk about our feelings," while you're half asleep and just want silence. The lack of external distractions also makes your thoughts louder. During the day, life drowns them out with emails, traffic, and TikToks. At night, it's just you and your brain whispering, asterisk. So, what's the meaning of life, champ? Asterisk. Ironically, these 2 a.m. thoughts almost never survive the morning. You wake up, remember you were panicking about how bees know where flowers are, and realize, wow, I was out of my mind. Your clock basically tricks you into being your own late-night talk show host, without the laugh track. Number 5. The weekend jet lag trap. Friday night. You stay up until 2 a.m., living your best life. Saturday morning. You wake up at noon, feeling like a god. Sunday night. You're wide awake at midnight, dreading Monday. Monday morning. Your alarm goes off and your soul leaves your body. Welcome to social jet lag, the most self-inflicted circadian disaster of all time. Your internal clock thrives on routine, like a fussy toddler. It wants the same bedtime, the same wake-up time, every day. But the weekend hits, and suddenly you're out here partying like your mitochondria don't have jobs. By the time Monday rolls around, your clock is still sipping margaritas in Saturday mode, and you're stuck dragging it into the work week like a hostage. The science is brutal. Shifting your sleep schedule by just 2 hours messes with metabolism, mood, and even heart health. It's basically giving yourself mini jet lag without the fun part of actually traveling. Your brain thinks you're in a different time zone, but your boss still expects you in the same office. The irony? People try to catch up on sleep over the weekend, but that just makes the crash worse. Your clock doesn't understand banking hours. It only understands consistency. So every Monday, you're basically time-traveling back from a parallel universe called Saturday night. Number 4. Midnight creativity surges. So you've spent all day staring at a blank page, accomplishing nothing, but the second the clock strikes midnight, boom, your brain suddenly decides it's Picasso with a side of Einstein. Why does this happen? Because your internal clock is low-key a troll. At night, your prefrontal cortex, the logical, uptight, responsible adult part of your brain, takes a little nap. Meanwhile, your more chaotic, creative brain regions get the spotlight. It's like the strict teacher left the classroom, and now the kids are building a paperclip roller coaster instead of doing math. That loosened inhibition makes weird connections between ideas, which is basically the fuel for creativity. Of course, the catch is that your body is physically tired while your mind is busy building a late-night TED Talk. That's why you might sketch a genius invention at 2 a.m. only to look at it in the morning and realize you invented a square spoon. Still, some of the world's most famous creators swore by their late-night bursts. Kafka, Nabokov, and even a young you writing fanfiction no one was supposed to see. But here's the kicker. The internal clock didn't design this for art. Back in the day, being alert at night meant protecting your tribe from things that go bump in the dark. Now it just means you're writing poetry in your notes app while your alarm clock ticks closer. Basically, your circadian rhythm is giving you a creativity coupon that always expires at sunrise. Number 3. Seasonal sadness glitch. Ever notice how winter turns your personality into one long sigh? You're not just bummed because it's cold. That's your circadian rhythm going haywire because the sun decided to ghost you. Seasonal affective disorder. Yes, the acronym is literally SAD. Is your body's way of saying, asterisk, I don't vibe with this lighting. Asterisk. Here's what's happening. Your internal clock is trained by sunlight. Less light in the winter means your brain produces melatonin at weird times, basically extending sleep mode into your waking hours. Meanwhile, serotonin, the mood booster, takes a hit. Result? You feel like Eeyore except with higher heating bills. This isn't some modern fluke either. Ancient humans also slowed down during winter, less food, less activity, more gloom. But where they got to hibernate socially, you still have to attend holiday parties and pretend to enjoy Secret Santa. Your biology wants to nap until spring, but capitalism wants you at work by 9 a.m. The fixes range from light therapy lamps to vitamin D, but the truth is your internal clock just misses its bestie, the sun. Until daylight stops ghosting you, your rhythm's stuck in low-power mode. Basically, winter is one giant, do not disturb setting for your brain. Number 2. Teenagers versus time. Ah yes, the eternal battle. Parents insisting teens are lazy, and teens insisting they're nocturnal bats. Turns out, biology sides with the teenagers. During adolescence, the internal clock shifts later, melatonin production starts later at night, meaning they naturally fall asleep and wake up later. So when a 16-year-old can't wake up at 6 a.m. for school, it's not rebellion. It's literally hormones. In fact, forcing teens to wake up early is basically sanctioned torture. Studies show that teenagers' brains function better later in the day, and early school start times lead to worse grades, more accidents, and mood swings that could power a small soap opera. But does society adjust? Nope. We keep pretending they're just being lazy, while scheduling math class at the exact hour their brains are still defrosting. It's not just sleep either. This delayed clock affects metabolism, attention, and even emotional regulation. So if a teen is yelling at you for breathing too loud, it might just be their circadian rhythm playing DJ with their mood. Ironically, once you're an adult and your clock shifts earlier again, you suddenly understand your parents, but by then it's too late. You've already survived high school fueled by caffeine and resentment. Basically, teenage circadian rhythms are biology's way of trolling both generations at once. Number 1. The Clockwork Puppet Master. Here's the twist ending. You're not running your life, your internal clock is. Every craving, mood swing, energy dip, or random burst of, I could write a novel right now, is less about willpower and more about your circadian rhythm yanking invisible strings. You think you're in control, but really you're the world's most caffeinated marionette. This clock lives inside your brain's suprachiasmatic nucleus, fancy science name, but basically it's a tiny bundle of neurons acting like the conductor of your body's orchestra. It syncs to light, food, and activity, then decides when you're hungry, sleepy, sad, or suddenly in the mood to deep clean the kitchen at 11 p.m. Your body doesn't just tell time, it is time. And the weirdest part? Every organ in your body has its own mini-clock. Your liver has one. Your gut has one. Even your skin cells know what time it is. You're basically a walking, talking watch store, and the master clock in your brain is desperately trying to keep them all ticking in sync. When it works, you feel normal. When it doesn't, you feel like an alien in your own body. So the next time you blame yourself for being tired, moody, or wide awake at 3 a.m. thinking about whether penguins have knees, just remember, it's not you. It's your internal clock hacking your life like a glitchy operating system that won't stop running in the background. You're not broken. You're just timed. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.